Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Welcome back to the sales course. This is something new for me because I usually do this behind the scenes, but I want to make sure that I'm enlightening as many people as possible. I think sales gets it has a dirty reputation. We always associate to the dark side, the dark side of selling, the dark side of, but what I want to show you guys is that sales is an enlightening force we can use to actually help people move forward. We have to convince people against their fears and objections to move forward. That's selling. Okay, now you can use manipulation in an evil way, which is to take something from someone selfishly, lie to them, bait and switch, create this false narrative and false illusion. That's the dark side of selling. Okay, but selling has a spectrum. It's not all dark. It's dark and light. The same way you go outside, you see the sun, or you stay outside long enough, you'll see the moon and you'll see the darkness. And so equal representations of both is what we exist in life. I know that wasn't proper grammar. But the point is, in this video, we're going to go over the one key thing that I've seen when it comes to selling. And it is this, and I'm taking notes, is understanding the product. Now, product knowledge is part of sales that you can't take from one venture to another. For example, I've helped people in film, fashion, fitness, music production, music business. Did I say film? I said film. Web3. What else have we done? Creative agency type stuff. We've done software, live events. So I've been on a lot of different perspectives, including, the beauty industry as well. Okay, so I've been in a lot of industry and jewelry. So that's about 10 industries and healthcare. So it's 10 plus industries I've been in. Now, the difference is that you can take your sales ability to show someone the value of something, to convince them against the objections, to give them valid justification, risk reversal, personal guarantees, credentials, trust elements, bonding, proof, samples. You can do all that per each industry. That's the thing that translates from one industry to the next. The thing that doesn't translate from one industry to the next is product knowledge. So for example, I can say I'm the best salesman in the world. Let's say I made that claim. Okay. And then I'm teaching everybody music production. I'm selling them on the idea that they can be a great music producer and go on to work with the greats in the world. I've done it. I've trained people to do it, and they have trained other people to do it. So that's cool. Now what I want to do is move into, let's say, aerospace technology. If I don't know anything about the fuselage, I'm making up names because I don't even know all the names. The fuselage, the cabinet of the spaceship, the rocket fuel, what it's made of, the wings, the material on the outside of the spaceship. If I don't know much about a spaceship, it's going to be very, 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 very difficult to sell someone on a spaceship who needs to know all the details. Let me give you guys a shortcut. There's 4 personality types for the most part, and it spells bank. I learned this actually from the Chinese. It was genius. Okay, so bank, B-A-N-K. So a B personality type is a blueprint personality type. These guys need the step-by-step sequence of things. They need to know that they're very logic-based, reason-based, I should say, because reasoning goes all the way back to a cause. If they take an effect and they go all the way back to a cause, following nodes, AKA data points that lead them back to a causation point. That's the idea of the step-by-step type of personality type, the blueprints. They need blueprints. They need step-by-step sequence. They love manuals. Okay, these are the people who love, tutorials where it's step by step by step and, making sure that it's cohesive. That's your B personality type for the most part. Then you have A personality type, like myself. Now, I'm not a person who reads manuals. You guys know me for this. I just skip over manuals. I get straight to it. I'm an action personality type. Now, action personality types love challenges. They love calls to action. They love action words. So instead of saying, you can come down to the local game store, you use action words in your communication. You could drive down, you could run down, you could walk down, you could, whatever the thing is, you want to communicate the verb, okay, because that's the action in this case. Now, the N personality type is a nurturer. These people love community. They love the environment. They love social status and social hierarchy. So these types of folks, the nurturers, we need to demonstrate community, how this thing or this service or this product leads to a social hierarchy ranking, or it means they're safe within a greater community. And those are the folks we have to talk to in that way. And lastly, you have the K personality type, and these are knowledge-based folks. They really love all of the details, all the specs. This is why when you go on Amazon, They have different sections to sell. If you want to learn how to sell, go to Amazon. All right, I had to make a jump cut because my son woke up from his nap. But that's selling, being authentic, letting people know you're a real person. I don't want to talk to AI and a computer all the time. I want to talk to somebody who understands my problems and can transform me from having problems to not having problems. That's who you want to be. Now, I talked about Amazon being, a perfect salesman, but let's get into the K personality type. They want knowledge, they want specifications, they want details, they want to know how something works, why it works. You have to explain this is why there's a show called How It's Made. This was built for the knowledge personality type. And the whole show was basically a sales pitch for the product, how Coca-Cola was made. Why? Because all the knowledge personality types are going to now focus on Coca-Cola until they want it. It's going to be embedded in their subconscious mind so much, impressed in their subconscious mind so much that they'll be thinking about Coca-Cola when they didn't want to. Even Santa Claus, the red Santa Claus, that was captured by the brand of Coca-Cola. At least I heard this. I need to do more research on the actual history. I don't understand the Santa Claus story was different, but as far as the guy in red and the big tummy and all that, was created by Coca-Cola. At least I was taught this. I need to fact check that. But it makes sense because Coca-Cola, Santa Claus is red. He has Coca-Cola in his hand. It's red. It all matches the Christmas theme. It's all organized. And so the knowledge personality type needs to know how something works, why it works. These are the people who are going to seem skeptical, but they're asking questions because they just want to understand what's beyond the curtain. We don't always want to use illusions and distractions to sell on these personality types. We need to have a concrete plan as to how they would transform from here to there, because they're not bought into through emotions, I should say. So these 4 personality types, going back on track, we need to demonstrate our product's value to the other people. Communication is key. Now, we're going to get into communication later and some techniques you guys can use. But in short, the main thing is I could have the world's best, spaceship, and I want to sell it to the government. Now, if the government can't understand the spaceship or how I communicate, I'm not demonstrating how they're going to turn this $1 million budget into 10 million, or this $1 million budget will save the country from X, Y, and Z. If I'm not communicating that, it doesn't matter how great the product is. They're not going to buy into it, because you have to convince people on some level. Again, you have to know who you're talking to, firstly. But secondly, you have to convince them that this thing will transform them from where they are to where they want to be. That's the core focus of sales. Now let's move into a little bit more. And there's a difference between features and benefits as well. A feature is saying, hey, this watch is gold. It's made of whatever. It's by this, it tells the time. It has this many kilohertz. I don't know all the terms for watches, as you can tell. That's the feature of the watch. Those are the specs. That's for knowledge person. A benefit is an emotional outcome. So this watch, people who buy this watch will be seen as more of an authoritative figure. Or when you wear this watch, it will raise your social hierarchy. When you wear this watch, you may attract your mate, because now they can see you as somebody who has excess resources to spend on metal. Okay, so these are the benefits of the watch. What is the outcome of me buying this watch? The features are what the watch is. I'm not worried about what the watch is. That's a knowledge personality type. I want to know, what am I getting out of buying the watch? And that is a benefit. Very different in sales. Okay, now there's something else we need to speak about, which is your product could be seen as something that everybody else does. So what we have to do is differentiate or contrast, show that there's a polar opposite from dark and light and black and white. We need to contrast from the existing market, because we don't want to be seen as what's called a commodity. Commodities are grouped together and seen as just one thing. And no matter if I buy an apple at Whole Foods or an apple at a Wegmans or a Sprouts or a Publix or Kroger's, wherever, I see that apple is probably worth $1. But if I understand that this fruit, some exotic fruit that doesn't even grow on the planet, it grows on Mars, and there's only 10 of them, it's going to raise the value, because now I know the difference between this fruit that looks like an apple, but it's grown on a completely different place and has magical powers, versus a regular apple. So you need to differentiate with your product and your service. And this is called competitive analysis. It doesn't mean to go in and figure out how to undercut someone or go in to figure out how to demolish somebody else's business. It means study your surroundings so you understand how to contrast against it. For example, I have a white wall, I have dark skin. I'm contrasting. This black TV screen is contrasting against the white wall. You need to stand out by contrast. It doesn't mean be exaggerative, use hyperbole. It doesn't mean, exaggerate your claims or to make big bodacious promises. It just means you need to be different than what everybody else is doing in the market. And that takes study. So this part of the video is the part where you're realizing, oh, I have to learn the product. I have to study the market. I have to understand my differences and outcomes. This is the mental part that we have to do. This is the work that we have to do when it comes to sales. Now, lastly, we have what's called a USP. This is very difficult in the modern age to create a unique selling proposition. In short, this is the claim that you make to the public or to the business to let them know that this is why your thing is different than everybody else's and nobody else can copy it. Some people call it a business moat. Some people call it, a unique stamp, whatever you call it. It's your thing that nobody else can clone. This is very, very difficult in the modern age. This is why personal branding is becoming a thing, because you can't clone personality. You can clone their voice with AI. You can clone what they look like with AI, but can you clone their experiences from the inside if the AI does not have that data set? They don't have the stories. They don't have the pain that you feel. The computer can't feel that pain. Okay, so that's something you can articulate through your unique selling proposition. But most USPs are very, 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 very difficult to create because nothing's new under the sun. And everybody knows this. Unless you're an AI forward tech company, it's really nothing new. Okay. So we have to be honest with ourselves. USPs are a lot harder to come by than we think. Now, a USP doesn't always have to be in the product. For example, if I'm Planet Fitness, my USP could be that, hey, we are you may have seen a gym before, but one, we made gyms family friendly. And then two, we made these safe zones. There's no people like dropping weights on the floors, no people breathing heavy. There's no people slamming music and taking pictures in the mirror. Okay, so Planet Fitness focuses their USP on being a safe, comfortable environment for who? The end nurturers, okay, who may value that a little bit more. Where somebody who might like an LA Fitness where they have a swimming pool, you could take pictures in the mirror. There's people there who are usually younger. It's a little bit higher price, so it feels more like a social club than it is an actual gym. So in that case, that is their unique selling proposition. It's more than a gym. It's actually a social club. Whereas the Planet Fitness is more of a safe zone for people who just want to get in, get out. They don't want people to bother them, look at them, and shame them for being overweight, whatever the case may be. That's a unique selling proposition, but in the business model. Okay, so not necessarily what the product is, because gymming is not, it's not unique. But the unique selling proposition is how they go about gymming or the environment they create or the experience they create. So nextly, we're going to talk about understanding your customer, how to find out about your customer, how to dig deep into the psychology of your customer. And this is where we get a little more tactical as far as websites, research. So again, if I decide to put this on YouTube, I'm not sure. But if I do, just go to busyworksbeats.com. We have a new sales course. It's completely free currently. I might put a price on it because what I'm tired of is people who just think that everything's free. Okay, there's a transaction happening. Okay, you're either giving me your email to get this free course or I raise the price and you trade money for this course. Something's exchanging. Nothing's technically free. Okay, but we want to make sure we're separating people. So I need to determine how much information I put in this course and if there will be a price to it. I haven't determined that just yet. Just understand I'm trying to give as much value as possible. Okay, so in the next section here, we're going to talk about understanding your customer, understanding your target market. We can talk about avatars. I think that's a little esoteric sometimes. And then understanding supply and demand. So it's pretty simple. If you are on YouTube and I decide to put this up on YouTube, subscribe today. It's youtube.com/busyworksbeat. Subscribe. If you're looking for the sales course, it's at busyworksbeats.com. And what else? Like the video. Share with a friend. Peace.